One of the greatest fantasy anime of all time is Records of Lodoss War. Let's talk about this anime because to me it's one of the greatest fantasy anime ever made. So this 90s fantasy anime to me is really what fantasy actually is compared to just some of the stuff like we get nowadays, because I will say a lot of the fantasy we get nowadays is over the top, because this one just has something that will kind of remind you of like some Lord of the Rings type of stuff, just like the way the dragons are, the way the elves act, and in a way a lot of all the other fantasy type of creatures that are in this series would act. Now this anime follows 6 individuals that come together through fate, only because in this world you have this witch named Carla. She's came back. Now that she's back, she's trying to cause chaos in Lodoss, and she's trying to have them fight, mainly because she always wants the balance in Lodoss to be even. She never wants one side to have the advantage, mainly because like she's from 1,000 years ago and all that. Like she's a super old mage that always comes around just to cause chaos. One of the things about this anime is it looks gorgeous, especially the original 13 episodes. They look so goddamn good because Madhouse was the studio that animated this anime, and it looks gorgeous. From the elves to the dragons, like the dragons look so goddamn good in here, like especially better than majority of the dragons that you see nowadays, because you know majority of the dragons you see nowadays some CGI nasty looking shit, but the dragons in this one look so goddamn good, and they actually look like real dragons. They actually look very majestic, and when you look at them you just think, oh my gosh, those look like some good ass dragons. The majority of the story really focuses around those 6 individuals, like as they go to stop Carla and how they go against the one evil empire. And there is a climax that happens in this anime when you have like one of the biggest kingdoms in Lodoss. Their king goes against like the evil king, they end up fighting, and both kings end up dying. And at that point you have like the 6, they have to go take out Carla, and eventually they do take out Carla. One of the interesting things about this series is that the original 13 episodes they tell their own story, but there is another series that came out that is 27 episodes, and it takes place 5 years later, like basically after episode 8 or 9, and is essentially after the group takes out Carla. And you have a new series that's called Chronicles of the Historic Knight. One of the first key things that you will notice about this series is that the art style is not the same. Sadly, this series is not produced by Madhouse, and just know you can tell in this series it's not produced as Madhouse, because I will say there's certain scenes in this one that it does not look as crispy as Madhouse, and as you get closer and closer to the end of this series I will say there is a big quality drop, sadly. But yeah, like I said, this series takes place 5 years after they defeated Carla, and like 5 years like basically after that episode 8 and 9. The story essentially follows everything that happened in 10 through 13 in the original series, but they expand on it by like even expanding some of the characters that we did see in like in the original series. They expand on that, and they also introduce a lot of other characters. And just know we do have like another time skip, because like in that first 5-year time skip we do meet some characters, and I think we get like another 10-year time skip too. I do like that part of the series mainly because it just does expand the world and like introduces us to new characters. But yeah, if you ever seen Records of Lodoss War, let me know how you feel about it. If you've never seen this fantasy anime, do yourself a favor and watch this, because in my opinion this is a really great fantasy anime.